This is BioSci Careers Online Transitions video series. The topic today is tips for preparing to attend a career fair. My name is Bev Principal and I am with BioSci Careers. Today I'm going to be giving you just some quick tips about how to possibly prepare prior to attending a career fair, as well as how to possibly manage your time when you are at the event. Various groups on campus, as you may or may not know, develop and host career fairs and whatnot throughout the academic year. Being the main career center on campus, holds several career fairs a year. BioSci Careers at the School of Medicine hosts the Biomedical and Biotech Industry Expo, typically held in April of each year. So to answer, what is a career fair? A career fair can be called a lot of things. Sometimes it's called a job fair. Sometimes it's called a career expo. Sometimes it's called industry expo. But typically they're all pretty much one-day events. The number of employers attending each of these fairs could range in size anywhere on a small size, maybe 15, up to over 200 employers. Usually fairs that focus more generally on a population, so it would be maybe all majors, degree levels. They could have anywhere from, say, 150 to 200 employers. But then there's also very small, specifically targeted by interest and research and experience. Those events, for instance, the biomedical and biotech industry event, would have somewhere probably in the neighborhood of, say, 20 to 25 companies, because they're focusing on a specific population here at the university. Most of the companies are present because A, they want to have everyone know about their organization, number one, but number two, most of them will have job openings, whether it's part-time, full-time, and or internships that would be available. So what to expect when you arrive at the fair? You'll find primarily, usually one table per company, and they either have a company name sign to identify their table. A lot of times employers also have their own table drapes. You'll be able to pick out their logo and company name. And a lot of employers have their own t-shirts, golf-style shirts, long-sleeve shirts, and has the big logo on the left-hand side of their shirt. So very easy to find the companies. Those representatives attending from the companies, they could a lot of times be hiring managers that have the openings in the various departments, and or it could also be people from human resources that have a clear understanding of the company culture, the history of the organization, as well as an idea of the job opportunities that are available. The representatives from the companies, they want to meet as many people as possible. They're targeting the event already by coming to Stanford, so they know they want to meet either undergrads, graduate students, postdocs, whatever their target base is. They want to meet as many as possible. The environment typically overall is going to be noisy, which sometimes is a little difficult to get through. You're standing there in line, and because the tables are in such close proximity to each other, you are going to have people talking next to you, in front of you, on the side of you. You might have long lines for a couple of companies, and from the student population, they're all talking to each other as they're waiting in line. So noise you can be challenged somewhat by the noise factor. But it also is a good time as you're standing there waiting, say there's 3 or 4 students in front of you and you're standing there waiting to talk to a company rep, to listen. Listen to what the employer, the representative, is saying about the organization. Where are their pain points? What are they looking for? So that when you get up there, you'll be a little bit more adverse with the idea of where do your skills, where does your experience fit in that's actually going to help this employer. Benefits of attending. It's basically one-stop shopping for when they come to campus. They've made all the travel plans. They're here to see you. They're predisposed to it. And for you, you just need to come to the building where the event is happening. It's a very efficient way for the Stanford population to gather contact information, find out information on companies, and get a little bit of rapport going, because you're going to be able to talk one-on-one directly with a hiring manager or an HR representative. It's not going to be where you're taking your CV or your resume, sending it directly to the company's website or wherever their drop-off point is, and kind of going into that that place that we like to call the black hole of CVs. So it's your time to really, really stand out. It's your time to engage. It's your time to make them understand when they read the CV, not only what's on the CV, because you're more than paper, you're more than words. You have passion, you have great experience in certain areas. You've got great research skills. You've got things that you can offer this employer. So that is what's going to make your resume stand out, in addition to the great information that you've got on that piece. So in preparation for attending the event, I always say it's a good idea to try to get a list of the companies that are attending in advance of the event date. And I know BioSci Careers posts that information, so you can get an idea of who's coming. You can go on to their website. You can start generally looking around, see what they do, what their products might be, what do they hire research people for, those kinds of things, and where do your skill sets fit in with that. When you're also searching, it's good on the BioSci Careers website to find out, confirm the date again. When is this fair going to happen? What time does the expo start? What time does it end? Because I know from working these in the past, we always get people coming in the last 15 minutes because they thought it ended an hour later than what it really did. And are there any special procedures before you show up for the event? A lot of times for events, they want you to register in advance, and the reason for that is because a lot of times the host needs the data of how many people have pre-registered versus how many people attend, because that all needs to go into budgeting for the next year and selling the idea of doing this event again if it seems successful. Next, take a look at that CV. When's the last time you looked at it? Have you updated it? You always can talk to the folks in BioSci Careers about your CV as well, and I know that they've put some other things online and resources that you can go ahead and access that will help you have the best look on paper that you can possibly be. Then start to put a plan together. Even if you're saying, well, I'm not really looking for a job right now. I sort of want to know what's out there, maybe in the biotech consulting arena, but I'm not really looking for a full-time job yet, but maybe I am, I'm not sure. You're just going to go and explore. That's fine, but have a plan. In addition to reviewing who's coming, then keep track of what their current openings are. When you find out information on the company, who they are, what they do, start thinking about a couple maybe possible questions that you could ask them. Like what is the application process for your organization? How long have you been doing this type of research in your organization? And get a little bit more information that you can use, because your response to them after is going to wrap up what they said and how your skills, your abilities, and your experience fit the kind of thing that they're looking for. So for instance, you could say, I have a specific area of research in medical device technology, and I've been working on this particular area of researching a new product here at Stanford that we're trying to create for the last 2 years. And right away, they'll know a little bit who you are, how long you've been working on it, what your area of expertise is, and it hopefully fits right in with what you've learned about the organization. So it's like they call it building your brand. And a lot of people don't like that because they think it's advertising, and who likes advertising? But it's a really good definitive word for figuring out who you are, what your strengths are, and how to, within 30 seconds or so, present that information to the employer. And I highly recommend, before you go to the fair, practice it on somebody. You know, even if it's, you know, whether it's a peer, whether it's, you know, the dog half asleep in the corner, whatever. The idea is that you speak verbally and just verbalize what things that you have going on in your head and how you want to say it. And it'll just help it flow a little bit better when you're face to face with the employer, because they don't try to be intimidating, but a lot of times they can be. You walk up to them and it's some vice president of research for, you know, Genentech or something like that, and right away you're there and you're trying to think, okay, what was I going to say? So the more you practice things and write things out and repeat them verbally, I think the more comfortable you're going to be. So during the fair, so okay, now you come to the fair, it's noisy, everybody has, you know, red tablecloths on their tables, and students are already there, and people are standing in line. So what do you do? Well, first of all, don't forget copies of your CV, and also bring a pen and a notepad, because as I was talking earlier about, while you're standing there, you know, gathering information, listening, there are a few things you might want to write down for future reference, things that they're talking about, maybe new pieces of technology, maybe a new direction for the company that is not on their website, you didn't see it, so it's good to have that opportunity to just jot these things down. Now, the representatives of the companies, for the most part, will look at your CV, will talk through some things with you, but then sometimes they might say, oh, okay, this is very interesting, but could you do this? We really need you to do this for us. We need you to go online. We need you to go to our website on this particular address and submit your CV online. And it doesn't mean they're blowing you off. It doesn't mean they're brushing you off. It means they have a process for how information is received into their organization. So if it's a company you're really interested and they give you that kind of direction, I recommend you go ahead and do that. Thank the employers. Thank them for coming. Thank them for any brochures or company information that they give to you, because a lot of times they do a lot of fairs and they ship or lug a lot of heavy documents and boxes of things and whatnot. So just hearing thank you, that alone sometimes can help you stand out from the other 18 people that they just talked to. You'll approach the table, introduce yourself, shake their hand, and give them your name, your full name. Then start talking, you know, asking the questions maybe that you had about their organization. Then they might ask some things back of you, and that's where you work in your 30-second branding statement about how you see your skills and experience fitting their particular needs. Then stop. And I know it's hard to stop. I talk on and on myself sometimes, but you stop, you take a breath, so there's a definite period there. So it gives a few seconds for your information to sink in with the employer representatives, because they're hearing a lot of stuff as well. They're hearing from a lot of people, they're hearing a lot of information, and just give them time to absorb what you have told them. Then they could very well, and probably will, ask additional questions that you can provide information to. And it's not a monologue, it's a conversation. So keep that in mind too. If possible, not all company reps will hand out their business cards. Sometimes they have a generic card because it's going to go to hr@abccompany.com or something like that they'll give you. But whatever you can get in terms of contact information, please ask for it. If they don't have a card and they're willing to just blurt an address out to you or something, you've got your notepad, right? And you've got your pen, so you can go ahead and jot that down quickly. After the event, follow-up is a good thing. And for that, for the cards that you have, a real quick email thank you for your time, thank you for the information. I look forward to hearing from you. If you have any other questions, please feel free to contact me. Short, sweet. Follow-up it's like when you go through an interview process. It's always so important to send a thank you note. And I think Thank you notes have sort of taken a bad name over the years, like, oh, I don't need to do thank you notes anymore because everybody talks to each other on, whatever, Facebook or whatever, Twitter, posting pictures on Instagram. Everybody knows who I am and what I'm doing, and they know I'm thankful. It's wonderful. Again, you're wanting to stand out as many ways as you possibly can over others, and that's a great way to do it, is a quick handwritten thank you. And if you can't do handwritten because you don't have the company address, you're not sure which office the person works out of, an email will suffice at that point. So to wrap this up, I just have a few what I call do's and don'ts for attending the event. First of all, be assertive, but don't be rude. So again, you want to position yourself in the best available light that you can. You're going to be doing it with an awful lot of people surrounding you. Other students, employers might have, next to you may have walked from the back of their table to the front, and they're gathering students around. So you're going to have somebody on your left talking. You're going to have an employer in front talking. That's the person you want to talk to. So there's a lot going on. So you have to be respectful of space and also time. When you get up and you're talking to the employer, your goal is not an hour-long conversation. Your goal is to get your CV in front of them, to ask the important questions that you really want answers to. Your goal is to get your information about what you think the top 2 or 3 things are in your brand that you want them to know about you, so they'll want to take a second look or have a longer conversation with you, and then move on. Do not ask about salary and benefits. Not at that point. It's a good conversation to have, but not at that point in the process, because you haven't even gone through a first interview round yet. And I know that's kind of important sometimes to you because of certain things you've heard from peers who have jobs within these organizations, but really at that point in time, I would not bring that up. The more focused you can be, the more confident you're going to look, and the better use you'll make of your time. So remember to be prepared, do a little research up front, get to know who's coming, make sure your CV is up to date and top notch and no typos. And like I said earlier, if you're exploring, there is absolutely nothing wrong with exploring. Exploring is a good thing. Just tell the employers that when you walk up to their table, that you have a lot of interest in their industry, but right now you're not in a position where you're looking for full-time employment, but you have a couple questions about their product or their research or how they do things or something like that. And I can guarantee if they take a quick look at your CV, they're going to want to answer your questions. So exploring is not a bad word to employers at all. Thank you.